Good afternoon, class. This is Stephen Twin with my informative speech. Uh, my informative speech will be on coral. Um, you say to yourself, what types of coral are there? Where do coral come from? How does coral live and thrive? There are many different types of coral. We can find coral in just about any body of salt water, to include some brackish water areas. There are some that are more heavily populated in, say, the Pacific Ocean and the Red Sea, but typically you can find coral in just about any saltwater body of water. Although there are many different types of coral, every coral feeds and grows similar to the different types. There are three main types of coral. LPS, which is large polyp stony coral. These coral typically have fleshy, big polyps. Skeletons can grow to any shape. There are small polyp stony corals called SPS. These are typically tree-like, if you would say. They grow with branches. They plate. They're harder than the LPS to propagate in captivity. And then the third type is considered it's a non-photosynthetic type coral, NPS. NPS includes sponges, sea fans. Basically, these types of corals grow without the need of sunlight. Some do use a little bit of sunlight, but for the most part, they can grow in dark areas deep into the ocean. Where are these corals found? Most of these corals are found in the the Eastern Hemisphere. A lot come from Australia. There's the Red Sea, Indian Ocean, the Pacific Ocean. Not a whole lot comes from the Atlantic Ocean. There's a fairly good bit that comes from the Caribbean Sea. And typically all the corals that we get as hobbyists come from the Pacific Ocean, the Red Sea, the Great Barrier Reef, the reefs in the Caribbean Sea. So all these corals are propagated from live coral reefs and shipped worldwide. The life cycle of a coral, typically most of these corals have some sort of breeding, propagating technique unique to themselves. You can feed coral manually, but out in the wild they grab particulates within the water column to feed off of. They all have tentacles. They reproduce in the manner of growth. Typically, a lot of them will just, as they grow, they're reproducing little spuds off to the side, creating another polyp. There are some that seed or release spores off into the water, and once those spores or those seeds catch the into the current and find a place where they can actually seed, they'll start growing there, as long as the water conditions meet the requirements of their growth. There are predators out there, such as fish. Some fish eat coral. Some invertebrates eat coral. And then sometimes you'll have two corals that are not necessarily alike, but in the same family, such as LPS, that don't necessarily get along with one another. So once they grow big enough, they'll essentially have a battleground between the two of them and fight off to see which one can continue to grow. Usually the weaker one will subside to the stronger one. It's a type of chemical warfare. They have stinging tentacles that they'll send out. But that's pretty much it on coral. As we've learned, there are three main types of coral: LPS, SPS, and NPS. Each type of coral can be found throughout the world's vast oceans. Due to different water parameters, some are found in specific parts of the ocean. From the birth of a coral seeding, floating amongst the ocean's currents, they will continue to grow as long as water parameters remain constant and they stay clear of predatory fish and or other dominant coral. Thank you.